I think I was technically detained.
What? Border crossings. Potentially one of the most stressful and most dreaded part of any international overlanding trip. The paperwork, the preparation, the anxious lead up, and all the unknown obstacles. And on a trip from Alaska to Argentina, there are many, many borders to cross. But since our journey is spread out over the course of nearly 3 years, they typically happen weeks or months apart. And they come with the reward of exploring a new and exciting landscape. We pride ourselves on moving slow, soaking in as much culture and adventure as possible, and making this trip more about the journey than the destination. However, a major mechanical issue in Guatemala was about to throw a huge wrench into our plans, and it would force us to do something we typically avoid: rush. In this video, we will attempt 4 border crossings in less than a week. And not just any borders, but the borders of what some might argue are the most dangerous and logistically complicated countries in Central America. One of these countries was going to challenge us in ways we never expected.
Like, they think we're in this country illegally, and I thought I was about to get arrested or deported or something.
It was a bad idea. We kind of had to do, yeah, exactly. We had to do what we had to do, but.
We join you from Overland Centro, a family-run campground and mechanic shop just outside of Antigua, Guatemala. We're here for what we had hoped would be some routine maintenance, but soon turned into quite the saga.
Before we left, we had heard a little bit of a noise coming from the rear end of the truck while we were driving at slow speeds, a grinding noise, and didn't think too much about it, but thought, hey, maybe our wheel bearings are starting to go bad. So when we were back in the States, we actually picked up a couple wheel bearings. Fast forward a month, came back to the truck, and the noise was louder after sitting for a month. So we drove around a bit, actually came back here to Overland Centro, and Axel and his team are now working on the truck. They have the wheels and brakes and wheel bearings off the truck. They drained the rear differential of oil and put new oil in there. So we're hoping that those 2 changes fix the noise. We really couldn't pinpoint it even when we put it on a stand and spun the wheels. So we're really hoping that we figure out that noise, but if we put it all back together and it still makes noise, we'll have to figure out what to do, whether we start throwing more parts at it or just live with the noise and hope nothing blows up.
After replacing the wheel bearings, we took the truck for a long test drive. But the noise was unchanged, or perhaps even worse. Maybe this has happened to you as well, but once you've noticed a strange noise, it's hard to focus on anything else. So although we were on a tight timeline to head south, we decided to stick around at Overland Centro to try and figure out this mystery sound. Back at camp, we drained the diff once again, and this time found something more concerning: large metal shavings.
Rodrigo and I are working on the differential here. We found some scratching on the carrier. So right now, Rodrigo's marking the covers for the carrier bearings, and we're going to take that whole differential out and see what's going on. We have some parts on order, but we're hoping they're the right parts, because they might not be the right parts. So we've got the diff out, but now it's pouring rain, of course. So I guess we're going to keep working, but not ideal. Got the drive shaft disconnected now. And so this noise we're having sounded an awful lot like that while driving. You can actually tell in that pinion bearing, there's actually 2 of them in there. There's a place right here, just doesn't want to spin. So that's another one right there. So that's pretty evident that there's something pretty messed up with that bearing in there. Okay, so today is day, I don't know, 5 or something of messing with this thing, waiting for tools to be either borrowed or bought. But I was able to get the pinion out of the differential. This bottom bearing looks fine mostly, but this bearing, the outer one, focus, you can see it is super pitted, bro. Super pitted. So that is probably the cause of the metal shavings in the diff and the terrible noise it's been making. Like, that is bad. That's the worst bearing I've ever seen. Granted, most of the bearings I've seen have been from bikes, but that is real bad. It really doesn't want to spin after a certain point. So now we have ordered the parts, and good news is I ordered a kit that had all 4 bearings for differential, so we'll replace all of them. I ordered that on Amazon to a shipping locker in Miami that Axel, who runs Overland Centro, has. So essentially that then will get shipped hopefully today or tomorrow, because it arrived today. Hopefully that will get shipped soon to here. So fingers crossed, they say 4-ish days, so hopefully it'll get here maybe on Monday, and we will be able to reinstall it. Also at Overland Central here, they have all of the tools. So they have a bearing press, so we will be pressing the bearings in the right way with a real press. And then yeah, hopefully it all goes back together nice and well, and we can get on the road, I don't know, early next week maybe? Fingers crossed, so we can keep going. At this point, we're running out of time a little bit because we are house sitting for a friend of ours in Costa Rica. So unfortunately, it means we're gonna have to really run through El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua, but that's okay. So today we got our spare parts for the differential. Look like they're all there.
Dana, Rodrigo, and Axel worked for a couple more days to install the new parts. They were so close, but hit a roadblock that required a bit of out-of-the-box thinking.
So Axel and I drove around all day today trying to find the right tool to figure out the torque for our pinion nut on this truck. We did not find what we need. We need a really low torque to set the preload, but he just thought of this. He has a luggage scale, and so we are going to use this luggage scale to measure the torque on this bolt as we set the preload for this bearing and the pinion. If it doesn't work, then we'll ship the correct tool to Costa Rica and pull it all apart again.
But we can get to Costa Rica?
Maybe. We're gonna monitor the bearing temps with the temperature gun as we go to make sure that the bearing's not getting too hot. And if the bearing doesn't get too hot and it doesn't make any noise, it should be good to get us to Costa Rica. I think.
The luggage scale was successfully used to set the bearing preload, and that evening Axel helped to get the differential carrier back into the truck.
What is this, day 10? No, we've been here 2 weeks.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like a month.
But we are putting the differential back together. Very thankful for Axel and Rodrigo and everybody else here. You guys are awesome.
Oh, you are awesome. You're working at it hard.
Yeah, we're both working hard. But yeah, it feels good to have this almost squared away. All right, let's do it.
Dana and Axel got everything buttoned up, and the next day Rodrigo filled the diff with oil. We were finally ready to move again. We were pretty stoked to get back on the road, but not without a touch of sadness to be saying goodbye to Guatemala. If you watched our previous video, you know how much we fell in love with this country, and how much adventure and beauty it showed to us. We will never forget the kindness of everyone at Overland Centro, and we hope one day we can come back for a visit. Or maybe even to pick up one of those sweet Toyotas they're always working on. It's not truly goodbye, just hasta luego for now.
All right, so we're doing something a little crazy.
We are trying to drive through 4 countries in 3 days.
We are now back on the road, but we have a bit of a time crunch. We are supposed to be house sitting for some friends in Costa Rica 1 week from today. So that means we have to cross through the rest of Guatemala, all of El Salvador, through Honduras, and all of Nicaragua to get into Costa Rica. And Dana has to work for a handful of those days. So we really have like 3-4 days to do all of this driving. It's mid-afternoon right now. We're gonna get as close as we can to the El Salvador border tonight, sleep there, get up early and cross, hopefully do like a little hike in El Salvador so we can say we at least did something in that country, and then pretty much blow straight through Honduras, which is a bummer because we've heard such amazing things about, especially the Caribbean side. But we won't even be going anywhere near there. We're just gonna buzz straight through on the toll road and get into Nicaragua, find a solid spot for Dana to work for a couple days in Nicaragua, and then end up in Costa Rica by next weekend. So it is a push, and we're definitely feeling really bummed that we won't get to experience more in these places. Really isn't the way we like to travel. We spent 6 months in Mexico, and now we're gonna spend less than 6 days in these 3 countries. So, bit of a bummer, but it's all part of the adventure. So, here we go.
Yeah, so this is the start of it.
Just luck.
We are also driving on a brand new rear differential.
Yeah.
So the truck sounds good so far, but we're also going to have some stops to check to make sure it's not getting too hot or that it's not blowing itself apart. Fingers crossed that all goes well. So, yeah, not the standard for us, but yeah, sometimes you gotta make a couple sacrifices. So we're really excited to see our friends in Costa Rica.
As we made a beeline to the border, we knew we had a pretty tough stretch ahead of us. Even though El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua are small countries, we still had hundreds of miles to cover between us and our friend's house in Costa Rica. And no matter how small a country is, they all have potential to slow you down if things don't go well at the border. As we neared the border late in the afternoon, we found a hotel that allowed camping on its back lawn. It was time to call it a night and plan for our border crossing early the next morning.
Just checked our differential plug. There's a little bit of metal on it, but it's a lot finer grained metal than before, and there's a lot less of it, and we drove a lot more than last time, so it's a lot better. And there's probably still a tiny bit of metal left in the differential and axles and all that, so I think I'm feeling good about it.
Sweet.
Fortunately, we're parked on an ant's nest, so getting under there, I'm covered in ants, and they are biting me like crazy. So I have to go put this back in, but I think we're good to drive.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Okay, Bruce, load up. Are you ready to go to El Salvador?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Six minutes from the border.
Yeah.
It's actually a beautiful sunny day, which is nice if we have to run around to a bunch of different buildings and get paperwork filed.
Yeah, the truck's definitely quieter. Like when you're descending down a hill, like previously that's when we really heard the noise because the engine was quieter and it sounded kind of like a metal scraping noise. And right now, all you hear is just the turbo whine from the engine braking.
All right, I think.
Frontera, Valle Nuevo. There's the border starting to get here.
This guy looks official.
Buenas.
Buenas.
¿Vieron el control?
Sí.
Ok. Adelante.
Gracias. Out of Guatemala.
Yep. Yeah, we brought our little portable copier over to the lady and she was pretty impressed. And it worked great because we needed a copy of the title too, which I didn't know. Yeah.
Relatively easy.
yeah,
It's
not so
always just
bad.
like stressful because there isn't great signage, so you're just wandering around trying to find the right spot. But once you find it, you're good. All right, onward.
Go check into El Salvador.
Yeah. See how long it takes. It is 9:35 right now, so we're gonna drive across the bridge and start the process. Muchas gracias.
Money. Bienvenidos a la República de El Salvador.
We did it!
Woo! We are in El Salvador.
Super, super easy.
Yeah.
I think it took less than 30 minutes. It was really friendly and helpful and just like wanted to make it easy for us. Showed us, like walked us to the correct places to get everything done. So one of the easier border crossings I think we've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't ask anything about any pets, so we didn't say anything.
No.
So now we've got an illegal dog.
They didn't even ask
They don't think it's
about
illegal.
any like declarations.
They
Yeah.
didn't look inside the truck.
No.
They didn't look inside the camper.
Didn't ask about fruit or veggies or anything, so we could have had a full grocery haul and been
Yeah,
fine. But
totally.
yeah, went super smooth.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna head to a volcano and hopefully hike it.
Entering El Salvador, we thought we could squeeze in at least one small adventure in order to experience a tiny slice of the scenery this place has to offer. We set our maps towards Volcan Santa Ana, an active volcano known for its trail up to a stunning crater lake. Only a couple hours from the border, we figured we'd squeeze in a quick hike in the afternoon before finding a spot to camp for the night and continuing our drive into Honduras the next morning. Unfortunately, what had started as a clear, sunny day had devolved quickly into a foggy, misty mess by the time we reached the road to the trailhead. And as we checked in at the entrance station, we were informed that the trails had been closed for the day due to the weather. Not having any time to spare to wait for a clearer day, we decided to at least treat ourselves to some local cuisine before getting back on the road and finding a spot to camp for the evening.
So unfortunately, the mountain is closed. So we got a consolation prize. We were trying some papusas and fried yuca. But then I think we're going to keep driving after this, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is. Truck's running great. So yeah, we're going to try some local cuisine before getting on the road again. All right.
Taste test.
Fried yuca. Oh, it's good. It's like potato-y, good texture, good flavor. Yeah,
Nice.
tasty. Got our papusas. I didn't realize there was cheese in them, so I had to quick run over to the truck to get a lactose pill so that hopefully the consequences are not very severe for me.
It looks pretty worth it.
Look at that.
It looks tasty.
Yeah.
Which
Probably
one's that?
worth-
Chicken?
Chicken and cheese, yeah. Just said chicken on the menu, but it's chicken and cheese. All right.
Yeah, they dip it in that sauce.
Sauce.
Good.
Yeah. Stopping to get a little fuel here. I'm going to test the diff. 135, 140, 33. Well within range of where it's supposed to be, so I think we're good. It's been quiet. When we stop for the night, maybe I'll check and see if there's any more metal shavings in there. Hopefully there's not too much. Hopefully we're not parked on an anthill this time so I don't get all bit up. I'm still scratching from all the ants. But yeah, it's been raining all day, on and off, but now it's actually quite sunny. We are just here. Heather is inside there getting us some treats. And then we are gonna keep going hopefully get right outside the border of Honduras. Long drive days. It honestly feels pretty crappy to be skipping these countries, just driving right through them. They're beautiful. Lots of cool things to see and do. We had committed to this date a while back, and yeah, we've got folks relying on us to watch the house and the dogs, and I think there's a horse and all sorts of things. So we're actually really excited about it. So yeah, when you make plans way out in advance, you know, sometimes you end up killing time, sometimes you end up needing to really sprint, and we're sprinting because of the mechanical stuff. But let's see, what did she bring us?
Hello.
Hello.
Snacks acquired.
What did you get?
I've got these little, they look like Fritos, I think.
Cornflower chips. Nice.
Lime. And then these will look familiar. But
Oh, San Pellegrino.
I've never seen this one before. It's a mint lemon. So
Oh,
it sounds
wow.
good.
It does sound good.
Thought we could share the 2 flavors.
Nice.
That's all.
All right, well, we're full on diesel. The differential is a nice temperature, not too hot. And shall we send it to Border Town?
Let's do it.
All right.
El Salvador is a country that we've heard so many incredible things about. Full of beauty and known for having some of the most welcoming people, we actually have friends who intended to stay for a couple weeks and ended up not leaving for months. Only getting to see a mere hint of this country through our windshield was a huge disappointment for us. El Salvador, we will be back someday.
Coming night. Not our favorite, but we are 23 minutes away, so now it's officially dark. We're just gonna go for it.
Yeah, it's just been a long day.
Yeah. This is a long stretch. It's crazy because on a map, like, it's such a short distance. Like, it's smaller than most US states, yet it takes a whole day of driving to get through.
Plan is to sleep basically right next to the border tonight. There's a truck stop that people seem to have a pretty good experience at, and then wake up early and cross into Honduras tomorrow. So basically repeating today: wake up early, cross the border, drive.
Yeah.
Yep. Super exciting.
Made it. 6:30. It's a truck stop, but it's nice, and we found a nice quiet corner. Oh.
There's cows over there and some grass, so
It'll do.
place to sleep.
It'll do.
So I am checking the differential one more time. Oh, this is where we stayed last night. Other people working on their trucks. We'll fit right in. Yuck. All right. Tiny bit of metal, but it's very pasty. It's not like flakes or pieces. It's what you want, honestly. So we're good in that regard.
Whew. It's already so hot.
Yeah, 88 degrees at 8 in the morning.
Yeah. Good day to be driving an air-conditioned vehicle.
Yeah.
We're all packed down and ready to hit the road. The border's literally like right over there. And yeah, do it all over again.
Twice maybe today.
Yeah.
Plan today is cross into Honduras, go ship the drone, and a few other things. We have a lot of knives, like not in a weird way, just we use them as tools and cooking and stuff, and apparently they've gotten really strict. So I think we're going to ship a bunch of knives. Also the binoculars they don't like.
Nicaragua doesn't like.
Yeah, Nicaragua.
Yeah.
And then finally radios, walkie-talkies, they don't like either. And we have like kind of, I don't know,
Kinda nice
long
ones.
range ones
Yeah.
that have a bunch of buttons on them, so they look more official than just like your little, kids walkie-talkie. So I think we're going to ship all that stuff at the DHL office. It's a Sunday. I hope they're open. I didn't even think of that.
I didn't either, but
We again are not telling them about Bruce. From what we've talked to other travelers and watched YouTube videos, they really don't care. So that's the plan. But then Nicaragua getting into, we will tell them about Bruce. And
they have some more official forms.
They're going to tear this thing apart in Nicaragua, it seems. So we are prepared for that.
Yeah.
Deep breaths now.
Deodorant's on.
Deodorant is on. Yeah. It's gonna be a sweaty day. Yeah, especially because it's hot. So
Yeah.
Think we're prepared.
And we'll see how long it takes. Hopefully it's as smooth as it was yesterday.
Yeah.
All right.
See you in a few.
See ya. We got our tip canceled, so that's half of getting out of El Salvador. Next, we will get stamped out our passports from immigration office. So now we have to go find that. Whew. It's really hot. It's definitely, like we said, we're sad to be breezing through these countries so quickly, but I have to say the climate is convincing me that it's the right move.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really warm and humid. We're stamped in.
We're stamped in. Yeah. There are a lot of helpers here. Helpers who are a bit aggressive, to be honest, knocking on the window, touching the car, telling us all sorts of different things, where to park. But yeah, iOverlander's pretty accurate. You just have to kind of keep your bearings and just look at the buildings because they are described in iOverlander. Definitely a bit of a different experience. Like lots of people just standing around. The people in the office were not particularly excited to help us.
No.
Yeah, it was very hot in the building. There's no AC. So definitely a different experience than El Salvador so far, but we're halfway there. We now need to go get the tip.
Yeah, we came back to the truck to turn the AC on for a few minutes, get organized, get our bearings, check on the dog, which we're always so worried about him, and then we get back to the truck and it's like 20 degrees cooler than it is outside, so he's totally fine, but yeah.
We have a sunscreen up, and the camper actually blocks so much sun from hitting the truck, so it never gets all that hot in here, which is such a nice thing about a camper that goes over your cab, and it's a white truck. But we're always worried, so it's good to kind of come back. Deep breaths, read the iOverlander for the getting our tip. Hopefully that goes as smoothly as the stamp, and we can get on our way and get to the office of DHL to ship our drone and knives and binoculars and radios.
Kind of busy day.
Busy day. And then Nicaragua, maybe. All right, let's go.
Cross the road to the building with the red bars. This is the aduana for the vehicle. And pet. We don't have a pet. Documents needed for the vehicle are canceled tip from El Salvador, copy of the title, copy of driving license, copy of passport.
Sweet.
You'll get a tip and a receipt. We paid $35 in cash.
All right.
So we just have to find the building.
Red bars?
Red bars.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right, we are officially on the road in Honduras. It took a couple hours. Yeah, the tip process was easy but long. Like, it seemed like he had to enter everything in manually, and it was just like slow.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and then the bank is closed today, so that took a little bit of extra time for some reason. So I had to pay somebody else, and I think they did a money exchange and probably made some money off of it. So we ended up paying $45, and we read online it was $35. I tried to ask, and they said no, because the bank's closed, you have to pay more. And I didn't really understand, but I agreed.
sometimes $10 is worth just getting on with it. Yeah.
They didn't ask about the dog.
Nope.
So we didn't say anything.
Another country for Bruce.
Yep, but it's 90 degrees out. It's hot and humid. And unfortunately, we confirmed the DHL office is closed because it's a Sunday, which makes a lot of sense. We didn't even think about it as we made this plan. So instead of trying to cross into Nicaragua tonight or this afternoon, we are just going to go find a place to camp. We'll have maybe 30-minute drive tomorrow morning to go to the DHL office, drop the drone off, and then get to Nicaragua. We'll see how far we can get into Nicaragua because we've had it's gonna be a long day tomorrow. Yeah, that's the plan.
Once again, we found ourselves driving through lush and beautiful countryside, wondering what incredible people and sights and potential adventures lay just out of our reach. We felt a deep sense of missed opportunity in Honduras. But to be honest, we also felt a sense of relief that things were, so far, going smoothly. With such a short distance between borders on the southern coast and nicely paved roads for the entire stretch, we didn't drive for long before finding ourselves at another truck stop for the night. Dana just ran into the DHL to ship our drone. Hopefully it arrives in Costa Rica, no problem. A little nervous about it. Bruce is ready for one more day of long driving. Right, bud? He's quite bored with us. We're also shipping some knives and our binoculars with the drone because we've heard that Nicaragua either confiscates them or makes you go through this really long process of getting them approved by whoever's in charge that day at the border. Some folks have said that it's added multiple hours onto their border crossing. So we figured, like, let's just ship it all. We did leave one kitchen knife so that we can cook. And we're, I don't know, just gonna hope that they don't ask about it, I guess. But if they were to take it, it's not like super nice, so we could just buy a replacement. But it's just one of those things where we're like, they know that people coming in and campers must have a way to cook, and so therefore they know that people are carrying knives, and it almost seems like they're just like kind of using it as a reason to harass people. So I don't know, we'll see. It might be a totally pleasant interaction, but I think we've read enough online stuff that we've built it up in our heads and we're feeling anxious about it, so trying to make it as easy as possible.
Shipped our drone and our binoculars and our walkie-talkies. They wouldn't take the knives because they said they're dangerous. So I put them in with our tools, and I think we're just going to deny that we have any knives. And if they ask very specifically, we'll be like, oh, well, yeah, we have tools. We have cooking knives, yeah. And stabbing knives.
Yeah. No weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little frustrating. We were trying to get ahead of something there, but we couldn't. So hopefully the whole package gets to our friend Mark's house in Costa Rica in a few days. I don't know if it'll beat us there or what. Yeah, so really next step, I think, is the border.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So I've got to say, I am a bit nervous about this border crossing. There's always some nerves, but this one just has like a reputation of being really challenging. And now that we have to keep our knives with us, yeah, it's just not. I don't think we're doing anything wrong, but we're gonna have to be careful with our words and yeah, just I'm on edge, honestly. So.
Nicaragua is known to have one of the most strict and difficult border crossings of any country in all of North and South America. The country itself has gone through some pretty turbulent political times in recent decades, and the current government isn't exactly known for being friendly to travelers. We've spent the past few months feeling anxious in anticipation of this border, and we were about to find out why it has such a bad reputation.
So we just checked out of the aduana there. Got our passports stamped, got our tip canceled. And now we're gonna move on to Nicaragua side. That was quick, thankfully. Going well so far.
Yeah.
Well, we've been here, I think, a couple hours already, and we thought we had been so good about planning for everything, and we didn't think about our spearfishing equipment in the back of the truck, which immediately caused a whole thing. So basically these two women were searching our truck, pulling everything out like so aggressively, like almost broke a couple of our fishing rods. And then they saw the spearfishing gun, which, you know, has like a trigger and everything, and they were asking about it, which is fair. And then after like, I don't know, 30 minutes of looking at it and calling someone on the phone, maybe like a supervisor or something, she tells us that we can't take it. They're not allowed in Nicaragua. And Dana fought back a little bit and was like, well, I read online that they are allowed. And they said the only way that we could do it was to drive back into Honduras, go back to the DHL store, ship it into Costa Rica, and like these things are like 5-6 feet long, so it would have cost a lot of money to ship them, if they even allow us to ship them, because they wouldn't ship the knives because they deemed them dangerous. The woman was like, well, then you can't, like, you have to leave it. And Dana was like, all right, enjoy, I guess it's for your kids then. We kind of got nasty, and I was like, oh shit, like, don't say that, you're gonna get us detained. And she immediately like kind of changed. I don't know, I think she kind of realized that we were calling her bluff. And so then she's like, well, if you want to wait for it, you're gonna have to wait hours of filing paperwork. And we were like, all right, we'll be here. And then like 10 minutes later, we got a knock on the window, and Dana got pulled away into a different building with all of the spearfishing gear. He told me to stay here, so hopefully things are going okay. I'm assuming he's talking to like a supervisor and getting the gear like signed off on maybe, but we'll see. We'll see if we just are out hundreds of dollars worth of spearfishing stuff, or if they're gonna let us cross with it. But
I think I was technically detained.
What?
I had to go sit in a room that they locked behind me.
What?
No handcuffs, but yeah, but apparently they are going to be shipping the spear guns to the border, and we're gonna pick them up on Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
I don't really know what happened. I'm terribly hungry. It's almost 3 o'clock. I haven't eaten since 7. God but I think we're free to go.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, eat a snack.
Nicaragua. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Bruce, your license, you were the easy part. At one point they lost the original registration for the truck.
Oh my god.
So
That's
that was
not okay.
hiccup. And then they found it and I was like, I need that. I really need that.
What a shit show.
Yeah. So it seems Nicaragua likes doing things slow. Because we spent like, what, 6-7 hours at the border? And they told us they have a national speed limit that Heather just looked up that they implemented in June of this year of 50 kilometers per hour anywhere. That is 31 miles an hour. And supposedly they're really strict about it. So I've set my cruise control at 31 miles an hour. We're just gonna drive.
Your first moments in a new place can often set the tone for your entire experience there, for better or for worse. And unfortunately, our initial interactions in Nicaragua had clouded our vision as we drove through the meandering country roads. After being treated with little kindness at the border, we found ourselves seeing imaginary evil in the eyes of people we drove by. These people were doing nothing wrong or threatening. They were no different than the wonderful people we had met in Mexico or Guatemala, in Honduras or El Salvador. But our judgment had been so impacted by our first interactions that our brains unconsciously made up stories that had absolutely no truth to them. Camping at yet another truck stop, we found ourselves sleeping restlessly. Every noise a siren of potential threat, each crow of a rooster or bark of a dog sending signals that danger was lurking. Something was happening to us that we had always vowed not to let in. Fear was winning. We needed a rest and reset, both mentally and for the sake of Dana's job.
Today's a work day for me, so we are going to go quick grab groceries, and then we found a different place on Overlander. It sounds like a guy's house, and Heather's been in contact with him, so it sounds like a nice quiet place for us to hang out for a couple days, which would be a nice change versus the loudness of the truck stops and trucks going every which way all hours of the night. So we still get to drive 31 miles an hour for about 40 miles though. Nice roads. The roads are so nice.
We quickly got on the road towards a camp spot just outside of Managua, the backyard of two locals who allow travelers to camp and relax in their little oasis.
Oh. Perfect. I'm not going to get great Starlink, but I did hear there's good internet. Yeah, that's true. Hola!
Thank you.
Gracias.
Farther up? Or
Yes,
oh,
good.
Okay,
Oh, thank you
perfect.
so much. Hola!
Over the next 3 days, David and Roger's hospitality reminded us that people are not their government. They are not the laws or the bureaucracy. They are not the scary stories that you read online or see in flashy news headlines. And as Americans who often feel very misaligned with the actions of our own government, we should have known that more than anyone. We will never forget our time with David and Roger in Nicaragua. It served as the perfect reset for our brains and our bodies in the middle of this long stretch of border crossings and stressful travel. And this reminder of humanity and kindness came at exactly the right time and in the right place, because our border challenges were far from over.
We are up early. It's 6:30. Left the camp spot at just after 6. And we're heading to a vet in Rivas, Nicaragua.
and that is because Bruce needs to get some very important paperwork done before he can leave Nicaragua and enter Costa Rica. So we are on a bit of an early morning mission so we can get that paperwork done, and it actually has to be emailed to a government office to then be processed, and that can take a few hours, so the earlier the better, because we're really hoping to cross the border sometime relatively early today and get somewhere good in Costa Rica for the night. How are you feeling about the border?
Well, I'm definitely a little bit scared about it because it seems like getting out of Nicaragua could be almost as hard as getting in was, which is weird. Really not concerned about getting into Costa Rica. People don't seem to have issues if you have the correct paperwork. So it's really just getting out that might be the challenge.
Yeah, and hopefully getting our spearfishing stuff back.
Yeah, we'll see. I think what we understood was that they're gonna send the spearfishing gear to this other border. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm not holding my breath. Part of me is just like, I don't even want to ask because I don't want to go through who knows what they have me go through to get it back. So
if you've made it this far, thanks for sticking with us. We know this isn't our normal style of video, and we thought about not releasing it, because honestly, it wasn't very fun to live through or even to look back on while editing. I considered skipping right into our adventures in Costa Rica and pretending none of this border crossing fiasco ever happened. But we care about being authentic, on the good days and the bad. We know that YouTube videos have a way of romanticizing overland travel, and we hope that this glimpse into the less glamorous side of our journey can help temper that a bit. Because even though the stress and hard times are well worth it for the adventures, they happen more often than you'd think. And without the hardships and hassles and long, stressful days, we wouldn't get any of the good stuff either. So thanks for being here through all of it.
in this folder, I think we have all the things necessary to cross Bruce out of Nicaragua and get back into Costa Rica.
What do you think, bud? Ready to cross another border? He's just bored.
Yeah.
Unbothered.
It's ridiculous how many steps they make you take to get out of the country.
To get out, that's, yeah.
But I think we've done them all, hopefully. So
Yeah.
we'll see how the border goes.
So vet, bank, some random
IPSA
like
and
agriculture office. Is that what IPSA
I
is?
don't know. And Cetrex. I don't know what those two things are, but
So it's 4 stops before even getting to the border, and then once we get to the border, there will be another stop, and then
just for the dog, and then
that's just
then the
for
truck,
Bruce.
then potentially spear guns, then
Yeah.
signing out of the border for us, and then getting into Costa Rica. So the day is still young.
Yeah, and
But luckily it's only 11:15.
Yeah.
Out of Rivas before noon, that's good.
Yeah.
We woke up at 5:15 this morning, so yeah. We're only 6 hours in.
All
Six
right.
more to go.
We can do it. And then we don't have to cross the border for at least a few weeks.
Yeah, at least.
Driving up to the Peñas Blancas border, we were initially put at ease. Everything was well marked, and it didn't seem super busy. It just generally felt more organized than most of the borders we had crossed on this trip. But that giant white building that at first appeared so welcoming, well, that was about to become the symbol of our toughest day on the road so far.
What you doing?
No, it's bad when the camp chairs come out at the border. We've been here for almost 5 hours, I think.
So first we went in, waited an hour plus line at the immigration.
To get stamped out.
Then they pulled us out and we were like, what's going on? They have the spear guns. We were very surprised. They had the spear guns.
One
We
positive of this day.
Yeah, we waited like 40 more minutes for them to fill out another form. They gave us the spear guns. We walked out. Then we went over to the dog place, waited an hour.
Probably took an hour, yeah.
At the dog place.
For them to fill out paperwork.
But now, the final step is to get the vehicle out, because now we're out, the dog's out, the vehicle's not. And apparently there's some other form that we don't have, that perhaps they were supposed to have given us, or they took back
At the other border.
First border, which took 7 hours. So they let us go, they let us into the country, they checked multiple things when we came in, so clearly, like, I don't know. Yeah. We didn't do anything wrong, but they're saying there's supposed to be another form that we don't have. We have like 15 forms, all these signed and stamped and all sorts of stuff, saying we don't have it. So now we've been sitting here for another hour.
All we want to do is leave this country. I don't know why it makes like I've never had an experience where it's hard to get out of the country.
Yeah, right.
I understand taking a long time to get in and making sure you have all your paperwork, but like, why do they? I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd just be like, peace, see ya. I don't know. Getting dark.
It's past 5 o'clock now. We are almost the last car in the parking lot.
I think we're sleeping here tonight.
We might be sleeping here tonight. Our guy has walked down there 3 or 4 times with different paperwork of ours. Yeah, it's raining. But I don't think that's him.
And he has your passport.
And he has my passport. So what's our plan?
Well, we definitely can't leave.
What if he doesn't come back?
Well, he has your passport, so I think if he doesn't come back in 15 minutes, we should probably go into one of these buildings and just be like, what's the deal?
Sure.
Because I'm just worried that all the offices on the Costa Rica side are going to be closing.
Yeah, totally.
Because they might process us, like, from a immigration standpoint, but not from a vehicle or a dog standpoint.
Yeah. I don't really think that the form that they claimed we were supposed to have actually exists, because I went in and nobody said anything about it. They just kept going along with the other forms like we were supposed to do. So I don't know, the guy who took my passport and the form for 2-3 hours, whatever it was,
at least,
just disappeared. No, didn't see that guy again. Someone had my passport, but it wasn't him. So I don't know. What a mess.
Feels like they gave us the runaround. Like, it just was one thing after the next. Like, Dana, now it's pouring, and Dana's been back and forth making copies of things that in the beginning they said they didn't need, and now suddenly they need another copy, and it's like, I don't know. I hate to claim that people are intentionally being cruel, but it doesn't feel like it.
That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
We're gonna get out of here, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I'd much rather sleep in Costa Rica's parking lot than here before they like change their mind that they need a new form. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's get moving.
Yeah.
7:10.
We got here at, what did we say?
Just before noon.
Yeah.
It's like 7.5 hours.
So even longer.
And that's just to get out of Nicaragua.
Yeah.
And now we have to cross into Costa Rica, which hopefully will be fast. Otherwise, we might be sleeping at the border in their parking lot.
All right.
Hopefully, we'll see you on the other
Onwards.
side.
Yeah.
All right, update. It is exactly 9:30, and we are officially pulling out of customs in Costa Rica.
Yes.
Holy crap, that was a long day.
I think we're good. No one ever searched the vehicle, but
I feel like you said, they know we're coming from Nicaragua. Nicaragua where we were heavily searched, so they're probably like, yeah, you're probably good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Costa Rica, they just built a brand new border station. Like everything here is new, so it's a little confusing because all of the instructions and maps that we had looked at aren't really relevant anymore, but everyone was super friendly. The facility is so clean and nice, like brand new. It's gorgeous. Actually, we have one more little stop coming, so hold on a second.
Hola, buenas.
Hola.
Let's come out.
Okay.
Sí.
Do you speak Spanish?
Un poquito, sí.
¿Tienes el seguro del
Sí,
vehículo?
sí. Okay,
Muchas
gracias.
gracias. Okay, so we have what Google Maps tells us is a 30-minute drive now to a camp spot that we weren't originally planning to go to, but the original spot we had picked out is like hours away, and we are not up for that, especially after dark, and we haven't eaten anything in like
12
hours. Oh man. Yeah, that was brutal, but super stoked to be in Costa Rica. I feel like there's just like this weight off my shoulders right now. I'm just feeling, I'm exhausted, but feeling so much better than I was 2 hours ago.
Yeah. When we were in that Nicaraguan border, I was despairing.
Yeah.
Just like, we're never gonna get out of here. We're gonna sleep at this border lot. And yeah.
At one point, Dana was inside dealing with yet another obstacle, and I get a text from him asking me to research the U.S. Embassy in Nicaragua, just in case.
Well, they brought my passport and the title, the original title to the truck. They brought it to a police officer and a military guy, one carrying a like AK-47 type weapon, and the other guy like pretty commando looking gear and with like very stern looks on their faces. And I was like, oh crap, I'm about to be arrested. Like thinking, oh, well, we don't have whatever form you're claiming we're supposed to have, so like they think we're in this country illegally, and I thought I was about to get arrested or deported or something. So I told Heather, start looking up the embassy info just in case. So yeah, there were some lows today. This is a high point that we're getting through, but I just wish it were light out so we could see and we wouldn't be driving at night in a brand new country. I wouldn't be driving if I didn't have to, but I don't want to sleep at the border.
No,
so
gotta get somewhere to sleep.
gotta find somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll go slow.
So probably won't have much to show you tonight as far as our campsite goes, but hopefully tomorrow morning we wake up to something beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna drive and then pass out.
Yeah. Good night.
See ya.
So this is where we slept last night. So grateful to be in Costa Rica with that terrible border crossing behind us. We're gonna spend at least a few weeks in Costa Rica. We're not quite exactly sure just how long yet. But yeah, we'll probably leave you there for this video, and hope you'll join us for some actual outdoor adventuring and seeing the country in our next video from Costa Rica, whenever that might come out. So we'll leave you here, and thanks for watching.